Welcome to Books on Air. I'm Suzanne Harris. You know, Books on Air is actually a conversation with an author about their latest book. Each episode explores the author's background, their inspiration, and what moved them to tell this particular story at this particular time. It offers a behind the scene look, if you will, at both the creative process and the challenges of writing, because there are many. So, whether you're an aspiring author or simply looking for your next great read, sit back and enjoy the insights from today's guest. He is very special, and his book is absolutely wonderful. Joining me today is J.P. Ferrando, and he's here to talk about his book, Ledgers and Legacy, a leadership journey beyond the numbers. JP, welcome.
Thank you, Suzanne, and thank you for having me for this wonderful, introduction for the book. I really appreciate the time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You're very unique. I started reading all of the information about you, and I discovered that you have a degree in physics and chemistry. You have a degree in Spanish literature. You have a degree, an MBA in finance and international management. What an interesting combination that is. And what I think that has done, and maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems this way. What I think that's done is given you a very different view of the ideas of leadership, and that comes through in the book. What made you decide to write a book like this in the first place?
So, as you mentioned, was very interesting. I start, my study with physical and chemistry, which is way far from accounting, and way far from learning a language. Most of the mathematical people, they are really by the number, not necessarily creative. I think is another part of our brain to be able to speak another language. And I fall in love with Spanish. It was my first job as a controller in Spain after getting my PhD in physical chemistry, which, who knows, I will be I will be in finance in Spain
Wow.
for a multinational company. And I fall in love with Spanish, and I say, okay, I'm in Spain right now. Let me go through the degree. Let me learn more. And I think I have a good capacity to learn more and more. So I said, okay, I spent my summer just learning Spanish, and I went through to university, and I want to have my license in literature of Spanish, which I get it after 1 year and a half of just studying and working in the same time, which was, amazing. But the one thing is really stick with me is say, oh wow, learning a language give me also opening the door to learn other culture. How the people from Spain, they are thinking differently than people from France. And being able to speak the same language was for me able to talk to them, speak the same language, and to manage them also as a leader. And that was for me fascinating. Say, oh, okay, I have my expertise in maybe physical chemistry or accounting, but how I can grab the different culture, of my team, because I've been traveling the world. After Spain, I went to Brazil. Okay, now it's Brazilian culture. It's so different that Spanish culture or French culture. Wow, so interesting. What I can do to integrate myself even more, I say, oh, there is a nice program, an MBA in Finance International from the Fundación Getúlio Vargas in São Paulo. Oh, but for me, in order to do that, I need to speak fluently Portuguese. Let me.
Oh my gosh. Uh, Go ahead. I'm just fascinated by this.
And that was, the starting point of my international leadership is how, how I can manage people. In order to manage people, I need to understand their culture, their behavior. Is when they say yes, doesn't mean they are in agreement. Maybe because their culture, you don't say no to your boss, but at the end, they're not doing what you're supposed to do, but just it was a culture sense. And that was just an eye opener for me. It was great. Um,
That explains a lot. I
yeah,
mean, as I read, first of all, your writing style is lovely. It's clear. Now, I'm a creative. I'm a person that business books don't usually appeal to me. Your book is such a different approach. Your writing style is so clear. Your thought processes fall right in with the way someone like me, who is a creative, would
yeah,
understand it. But the ideas, I think, will be unique and interesting to someone who is not a creative. And I think you have done something very unusual. You have bridged all kinds of different learning styles, management styles, because you have used a different approach. Thank you for doing that. It's a wonderful approach.
Thank you, Susan, for that. And I think and that go back to the title of the book. Back to your point here, because the ledger really represent my professional foundation in accounting and finance. That is what means a ledger. And the legacy really represents the impact we live through our leadership, relationship, mentorship. So the title captures the transition from measuring the number to measuring the influence you can get to your team and to the people. And that is what is ledger and legacy is.
You also emphasize an interesting perspective in resilience and in reflection and lifelong learning. Often, management books focus on just the processes and just the process aspect of managing. Putting in the idea of resilience and stress management is a part of resilience. And when I thought reflection, I loved what you did when you put in practical exercise for leaders. You put in key takeaways. Relationships matter more than boundaries. I mean, those kinds of things are not usually a part of the management style when you talk about management. You have expanded that in a way that I think is so important, especially in society today. I think all of the different things that you have done in your life have coalesced into something that is so valuable for anyone who is working anywhere that's trying to be a supervisor or a manager or go up to the leadership position in a company. So
Mm.
let's I know I'm talking much more than I normally do in these interviews because it's about you, but I just want our listeners and viewers to understand how terrific this book really is. Let's give them an overview of the ideas and the principles that you put in the book.
Yes. So really, the book can be, I would say, Ledger and Legacy can be a leadership book that use my journey from accounting professional to chief accountant, officer to demonstrate that success is about format, but that number. But the book explore, as you said, leadership, mentorship, integrity, and really the impact we leave on the other. Okay. While for me, the accounting is a backdrop, the real story is about building a meaningful legacy through the people and the purpose and what we want to leave behind us. Again, when we leave, a company, you are a number for the company. And the company today, they are looking for your report and your forecast and as an accountant and closing the book on time and accurate, etc. But what the team will remember from you is how you help them to grow, how you help them to mentor, how to be very sincere. Okay. Is a team. If you build a trust with your team, the team say, okay, I know when Jean-Pierre say no, is because they have a good reason to say no, because I can trust him. I build this confidence and this clarity. So the way I think about it is One good example is let's go to the top of the Kilimanjaro. Okay, everyone can do that. I mean, you go, you prepare yourself, you know what I mean? And you prepare yourself and you are good to go. I
And
mean,
you've really climbed Kilimanjaro.
yeah, I did. Yeah.
So
And that
this
is
is
part of,
not just a theory. This is really climbing
oh,
Kilimanjaro.
yeah. Everything I put on my book is, I did it, yeah, for real.
Wow.
So I climbed the Kilimanjaro. And the thing was, every day you need to push yourself a little bit more to go to the next step. And a little bit more. You know what I mean? And it's for that for me was the great comparison between the leadership and the Kilimanjaro is how to grow and how to climb the ladder. The ladder to become an analyst to a chief accountant officer is not from today to tomorrow right away. You need to adapt yourself to go to the next level, adapt yourself, bring more experience, go to the next level. And the Kilimanjaro is the same. You go to the next level, you acclimate your body with less oxygen to go to the next. You come from something that 110 degree Fahrenheit to zero on the top of the Kilimanjaro. You know what I mean? So you need to adapt yourself as you grow, as you climb the ladder. And for that, I think the book is my personal, situation and challenge I put to myself, but how I can bring that to as a leader. When I run the marathon, the New York Marathon, everyone say, be careful, you will hit the wall. And guess what? I hit the wall.
Surprise.
Surprise. Did I listen to people? Maybe yes. I didn't listen enough? Probably not because I hit the wall. And my last, miles to cross the finish line was a pure pain because my two legs was just, two pieces of food. But I crossed because I said, I really did, I trained myself again and again and again to do that. It's just resilience. How to build yourself to be resilient. And as a manager and leadership, you need to show that to your team. Hey, it's not easy. Not every day is easy, but if you build enough resilience, you can go to the next step and you can grow the ladder and you can grow up and the people learn that from you.
Wow. I think there's nothing you haven't done, JP. I mean, it's amazing. Often, when people write a book like this is partly your story. It's partly about management and it's partly about the distillation of your own experiences. But when you write a book like this, writing a book is not like anything else. It's
Correct.
it's difficult because it's you and your thoughts and the paper, however you choose to do it, whether it's electronically or with a pen and a pad. Did you learn anything that surprised you, or did you learn anything new about yourself in the process of writing the book?
Yes. The writing the book about kind of a milestone in your career was easy because it was based on fact. So you can write that. You know what I mean? So you have all the process, to write the process is easy. When I have to write something that was more emotional, more linked to the people, that was where you get, oh wow, I didn't see that was took me so much to write about this, experience because it was more emotional, was more leading toward people. And that's where it took me more time to make sure first I bring the right things, not something that was, my book is not, is not in imaginary book. It's based on, fact and emotion. And as a physical chemistry, I'm always, my growth was based on fact. And when you go to the emotional part of it, you say, oh wow, that is a new range of I never explore. And writing the book brings that on the table and was something I never experienced before, was something very interesting.
It's very interesting how the creative process manifests itself. I remember I was writing a fiction book and I had to kill a character in this particular scene, and I was on an airplane. And I remember writing the because you're right about the emotion, and it surprises you sometimes. I'm writing this particular scene on an airplane. I have a pad, and there's someone sitting beside me, and tears start running down my face because I like this particular character. I don't want to kill them, but I have to. And so this guy said, are you okay? And I said, yes, yes, I'm just fine. I'm having to kill a character. And he got this strange look on his face. And I think sometimes people who have not experienced the process of writing, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, and especially if it's part of your life, they don't understand that emotion that the writing brings out in an individual. And I think you just expressed it perfectly. And I think people would be surprised to think about a business book bringing that kind of emotion out in a person, except that this is a very personal, experiential business book. What do you
Correct.
think? What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And the people need to still understand that managing, be a leader, you still need to be able to manage your emotion, but not be a cold person. You need to be a leader that people can interact with you, can, and when you lead your team, make sure your team is comfortable with you. Make sure you know what's happening in their life. Okay. Because that will, the way they are today, they are valuable for the company, for you and they've been able to bring something on the table. It's probably impacting by their own life. So as a manager, as a leader, if you are able to bridge this emotional, you don't need to be, you need to have some empathy, but you cannot be you're not his dad and mom. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
It's a fine line in between, be completely empathy and the true leader. You know what I mean? So this emotion, you need to be able to work on this emotion for them to feel that you matter for you. They matter for you. You know what I mean? To you. And when you have this empathy, this emotion, they will get that. So it's, yeah. So writing, I please every leader, if you have 5 minutes of your time, take a time, write something about you, write something about how you want to manage your team for in the next, 1 or 2 years. Just write something, to see, you will see that there is something from personal that will come from the writing. And you don't need to be a perfect writer. Just the fact, you know what I mean? You bring your idea to a paper is something magic. It's something magical happening. I don't know what it is, but it's something that there is something happening.
I could not agree with you more. And one of the things that I really like that you have done, some interactive sections in the book
Yeah,
where you use reflection questions and you ask the person to sit down and go through it and answer, actually think about it. It's not a quiz, it's just a reflection to get you to think, how do you really do this? How do you really feel about this? And I couldn't agree with you more when you talk about the humanization of someone who is a leader. The best leader I ever worked for was a Johnson and Johnson company up there in New Jersey. And his name was Ron Geldman, and he was an amazing leader because he had that human touch. And I
hmm
think sometimes when you get to that president level or vice president or director level in a corporation, you lose that because you forget what it was like to be a worker. You forget what it was like to work for someone when you're the person they're working for. And sometimes I think it's so easy to lose your humanity, so
yeah.
difficult to keep your humanity. And that's what I hear and feel you saying in the book. Am I on target?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's key for me. It's key. Yeah, keep human. Stay human. I mean, you can see today. You open a chat GPT of AI. It feels that you're talking to someone human. You know what I mean? So we have in this today in this life there can be a misrepresentation of what can be human and can be really human. You know what I mean? And as a manager, if you want to be a good manager, make sure you don't lose this humanity and your emotional. It's part of you. You know, don't change yourself just because you are VP. You know what I mean? Sorry, but every day you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to do like a common person. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter which title you have. You still need to be who you are yourself. Don't lose that.
You realize that you and I could sit here. I'm enjoying this conversation way too much. You and I could sit here and talk and talk and talk about this because I just love what you've done. And I hope that some people who are listening to this, who are in that management level, will pick up a copy of this book and actually read it. I want to go ahead and tell them where they can find the book. It is on Amazon. And
Yeah,
the title of the book is Ledgers and Legacy. Now, Ledgers is spelled Ledgers and Legacy, A Leadership Journey Beyond the Numbers by J.P. And let me spell your last name for them. Ferrando, Ferrando. This is a book that you just need to pick up and read, whether you're a vice president or you want to get promoted to supervisor or you're just in business. This is just something that you need to read. Now, JP, if they want to find you somewhere else, your book is on Author House website, right? They can,
that's correct. Yes, that's correct.
and you're also doing something on Facebook, correct?
Correct. So on my page on Facebook, you can find the book. You can find the book. Sorry, and also we create a web page, www.jpferranto.com. That's where you will see you will find the book too.
Perfect. Now, I'm an author myself, and I know that every book that you write doesn't matter what the title is, how in depth it is, how many pages, it doesn't matter. An author always has a very invested interest in what they've done, and you've already shared with us the personal interest in this book. When our listeners become readers, and they sit down and begin to read your book. This is not an easy book that you'll just sit down and read page to page. You'll sit down and you'll begin to read, and you'll really, the concepts are just terrific. So you'll sit there and you'll read the concepts and the ideas, and you'll want to close that cover and think about it. How can you apply this? How does it apply to you? How do you feel about this section? And then you'll go back and you'll read some more. Now, there are reflection questions, there are activities for you to do in this book, but finally, eventually, you will come to the very last page and you will read that last page and you will either electronically or physically close the cover. JP, when they close that cover for the last time, what do you, as the author, want that reader to really take away with themselves?
Yeah, I mean it's a reader take away one lesson from Ledger and Legacy. I hope is this that professional success may open doors, but leadership, character determines the impact we leave behind that. So at the end of our career, okay, our greatest accomplishment won't be found in financial statement, but they will be found in the life we have influenced through our journey. I hope that it helped.
Perfect. No, that's perfect. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed meeting you and how much I've enjoyed talking about your book. Best of luck with this book. I think it's just wonderful, and I really hope everyone that hears this will pick up a copy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Susan, for having me, and have a great day. And enjoy the book, Ledger and Legacy.
Now, don't forget, JP's book is Ledgers and Legacy, A Leadership Journey Beyond the Numbers by J.P. Ferrando, Ferrando. You've been listening to Books on Air. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep sharing your stories. Thank you so much for listening today.